Hey guys, Micah from Micah Doodles here. I'm going to show you guys how to draw a hot rod. So the first thing that I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to put my perspective line down, or my horizon line down. Then from there, I'm going to kind of define the front of the car. Again, if you want, you know that I kind of put everything within an egg shape like this, but I'm beginning to define my parameters. On this hot rod here, it's going to have a really cool grill in the front, so I'm going to go ahead and just start inking this thing in, figuring out what I want on this. We'll just kind of go. I know I'm going to have probably a light here, a light there. Then I'm going to take my wheels. I'm going to camber my wheels like this. The same shape. Everything's running in this perspective, so the same shape is going to be running down like this. Again, I'll repeat this pattern down here as well. And again, if you're keeping within the same perspective with this within this egg shape, I can go ahead and draw my wheel out how I'd want it. So let's say I'm putting it here. And again, because this is going off the page, I'm going to draw it below my horizon line like this. And then following the same shape of this contour here, I've got there. Now this is going to go back. I'm going to probably drop it behind here like this. Pull this to here. My window's up like this. Again, I slant everything forward on my drawings just to kind of lean it to give it a little bit different feel. So as soon as I've kind of got my basic shape, then I can basically start fine-tuning it and adding in the detail. So real simple, real quick sketch. But again, as soon as you start adding the detail, everything's going to start coming alive on it. Okay, I'm going to go here. Okay, and pull that guy over like that. Let's start on here. Let's get this guy nailed down. There you go. And with these pencil lines, I go in and I darken up. I darken them up to kind of get a feel where we're at, but I don't necessarily go really heavy until I really am comfortable where that's going to be. Again, I'm just going to put in some shadows because I feel like I know where that's going to be at. Like that. This is definitely going to come in like this. That's going to be my middle, so I'm going to have some grill lines. I do have a light here, so I don't want to completely cover it in, so let's go something like this. There we go. Again, since this one is in the background, this piece is going to be a little bit darker so that it stands out from this other piece like that. Okay. All right. Following my line down like this, I can kind of guess and figure out what I'm going to do with this car, but I'm going to roll this fender down like that. Roll this like that. Again, since this is like a custom design, you can kind of do anything you want. You can give it a split window. You can go crazy on it. Again, with these lights, I'm going to put some probably Model A lights on here, just some big ones on the front like this. Again, the wheel's blocking that part off, so let me go back here and kind of jumping around. Hopefully that's okay. Get my contour. There we go. Back of my tires like that. I'm going to darken that up like that. Same thing over here. Grab my rough contour. Grab my light. Circle in here. There we go. Just kind of want to keep it simple, but then have fun with it as well. Okay. Keeping that. Then from the tires, I'm basically following these lines and drawing just lines down like this around the top. See that? Real simple like that. If you wanted to, I could come in here and add some shadows on this line as well, and then basically darken this up like this. Kind of adds a little bit of depth to it. Okay. Now, these rims are going to be recessed a little bit, so I'm going to figure out where I want my spokes to be. I've already kind of decided that, so I'm kind of really roughing those guys in. And then I can basically define them more. The inside of the lip, here we go. Something like that. All right. Again, I'm going to darken the inside of this wheel up so it really just stands out like this. There we go. Something like that. And then my inside of my spokes, I'm just going to darken it up in here. So you can kind of see what's going on, what's taking place with these spokes and how they're hitting those lines or whatever. Like that. Okay, shadow right here from that light. I'm going to put that thing in. There's some technical stuff going on, some suspension stuff going on under here. So a lot of this I'm just going to guess. Your eye can make up the difference about what's going on. So for here, a lot of it's just guesswork. If you're familiar with cars, things like that, you kind of have an idea. But sometimes for the majority of us who are looking at it, we know that there's some linkage and there's some suspension and there's some rods and whatnot and things to keep, the alignment in check and all that stuff. But for the majority of people, you don't have to put in all the details on that to really make it believable, just like I didn't. So, and then you go from there. So notice with this, I've actually taken the front of this and I've pulled this over the front, which kind of adds a little bit of depth as well because my ground is below it. So as I'm kicking this thing in, now I can start darkening it up. Again, I'm going to add my wheel here. Now, the hot rod wheel that I'm going to add here is not going to be rounded at the bottom. It's going to go off the center line, or it's going to go off the horizon, which tells you that it's going behind there. Then I'm going to darken up back here, roll this guy around like this, kind of add a little bit of a bevel on there. Then I'm going to pull this line here, and I'm going to follow this pattern, this contour right there. Okay. There we go. Maybe add in some seats. There's one there. There's probably one there. This thing's going to roll like that. If you wanted to, we could add in some grill, things like that. Figure how we want this door to open. Something like that. Now, again, I'm going to take this one. Now, so for this wheel, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to start heavy on top, and I'm going to pull it down. Do my strokes down like this. So when it hits here, it's going to go off. I'm not going to completely draw it all the way down. So what this leaves me room to do is to do the same thing over here. And again, I'm not going to touch this line. I'm going to kind of outline this line away like this. Then I'm going to darken this up like this. Okay, adds a little bit of depth. Same thing. I'm going to take this and I'm going to follow the contour of here. This is going to be the inside of my rim. Again. Then taking where my center hub is, pulling it up like this, basically drawing it like that, and taking everything in between that wasn't attached, that's not part of that rim, and darkening it in like that. Okay, so now I can kind of then I can go back and kind of add the details of what's going on with that. Make sense? There we go. Now, this obviously it's really quick. Where I've got a shadow in here, if I was going to ink this, I would go dark here on the edge of this lip right here. I'd go dark and I'd pull it down like that. So that kind of gives you a good idea. Another thing is if you want to start adding tread to this, it's real easy. Start at the top and just kind of pull it in like this. That's going to be your first line. Second line is the opposite. You're going to basically push it towards it like this. Okay, and then repeat the same pattern here. Got it? Real simple. Same thing. Like that. Make sense? So it kind of basically starts coming alive now. Again, I'm going to put a shadow right here on this thing as this thing's coming down like that. When I've kind of got it done, I'm going to start outlining it, going heavy on the outside, and that's really going to make this thing come alive. So here we go, like that. Where the window is, or where the seats are. I didn't put a rear view mirror on it, so I'm going to put one right here. I'm going to put one right here as well. Again, anytime you do chrome, you're going to want to have a horizon line. Everything below your horizon line is going to be darker because that's going to reflect the ground. Everything above your horizon line is going to be lighter. That's going to reflect the sky. That's just a real quick lesson on how to do chrome. So I'm darkening this guy up like this. There's my other mirror on this side. Something real simple like that. Drawing it down, outlining this. There we go. There's some stuff going on in here as well, but kind of real simple. Real simple. Again, you can go in here and darken this up as well to kind of add some depth. But again, you can kind of see what's taking place. The vehicle's starting to take place. I've started to kind of define some things. I put the shadows in. If I was going to take this and ink it, then the colors would really pop on here. But for right now, I think this kind of gives you a good idea about what's going on. And then with your shadows, with your highlights, with your different things, you can basically go heavy, do a heavy line in here like this. You could fade it down with your pencil to kind of show you where there's a change in the light source. It's one way to do it. But real simple like that. All right, so here we go. There's one hot rod.